We live in a world that tells us success means never quitting, strength means holding on no matter what, and suffering is just the price that you pay to prove that you're worthy. But I've learned, painfully and beautifully, that those are lies. My name is Sydney Montgomery, and I'm a two-time six-figure Christian entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and life and business coach. I speak all across the country to young adults, professionals, and in various corporate settings, helping people redefine success, resilience, and confidence in themselves. I want to talk to you about a moment that can be harder than failure. And it's the moment when God says, let go, even when everything in you wants to scream back, but I worked so hard for this. I'm going to share two moments in my life when I knew God was asking me to let go. Once when I was a lawyer, and once as a founder, and how both moments shattered the vision of success I thought I was supposed to have. My dad always told me growing up, you are your word. And from age 8 to 21, all I ever talked about was becoming a family lawyer and working with children. And because lawyer fits into one of three West Indies approved careers of doctor, lawyer, and engineer, nobody in my life questioned or investigated my desire to become a lawyer and whether that matched up with the realities of work. I went to Harvard Law School, unwavering in my commitment to be the exact kind of lawyer I said I wanted to be at age 8. Even though life had thrown its curveballs, my family situation at that time was a bit rocky, and I had developed chronic and debilitating pain syndrome that really left my finances stretched thinner than they had ever been before. I was resilient, and so I thought I had to be consistent and I would not be moved off my original trajectory. I was going to be a woman of my word. I was going to be a lawyer. But even in law school, God was planting seeds for something else. I found myself hanging out around the JD admissions office. Someone gave me a copy of the book Privileged Poor, and I started interviewing and befriending the admission deans, not just at my school, but at all other schools that I had applied to, even the ones I didn't go to, because I wanted to learn more about admissions. I wanted to learn more about this career path and how they got where they were. After law school, I clerked for a judge and joined a family law firm, but my health issues continued to mount. The pandemic hit, and I looked at my life now that I was a lawyer, the exact kind of lawyer I said I wanted to be when I was 8, and I realized I had never been more unhappy. 2 months before I hit my breaking point, I participated in my church's 21 days of prayer and fasting. And I had prayed that if God would allow me to work with students on admissions full time, maybe sometime far in the future, I would use my business to build the kingdom. I was hoping maybe that this is something that would come to pass in 20 or 30 years after I had already been a successful attorney and I was very financially stable. But I heard God say, let go now. Now. At that time, I was working still full time as a lawyer. And yes, I was doing admissions work part time on the side, but I was a full time attorney. I didn't see a way out. I was in the most pain that I had ever been consistently with my health issues. I would cry in the bathrooms in between meetings. I'd sit on the floor of my office with nerve pain running down my arms and my legs and a heating pad on my hip. And I thought there was no way I could afford these health treatments if I wasn't still a lawyer. I would go home and I would juggle the 30 students that I had on my roster, the 30 students that would bring me so much joy as I was helping them navigate the admissions process. But I couldn't imagine quitting my full time job as an attorney. But the truth is that I was holding on to a life that was actually breaking me. I thought leaving the law meant that I wasn't strong enough, that it meant that I didn't have the grit, that I would be letting my friends and my family, my community, and my mentors down. But here's the truth that I learned. Strength is not refusing to change course. Strength is the courage to release what's breaking you, what you're holding on to, even when it looks like success to everyone else. Fast forward a few years, and I found myself in another letting go moment after I had let go of being an attorney. This time, this was with something that I had built. I grew an admissions consulting business, and also I ended up growing an ed tech startup called Outline, and we were at a crossroads. Outline It had raised money. We got into top accelerators. We were named one of the top 200 pre-seed early stage companies in the world. We had served thousands of students with our writing platform, and it seemed like everything was working until it wasn't. With the rise of AI, we weren't financially viable anymore. I had to come to terms with that. And I had to face a hard truth. Do I continue down this path? Do I put myself in debt in order to hold on to this thing that I had built? Or do I shut it down? And shutting it down meant telling my friends and family, all who had invested thousands of dollars in me, that I was going to lose their money. I was so scared. Not just of the failure, but of what people would think of me. But here's the thing, no one was mad at me. In fact, many of the people who supported me then still support me now. And that moment taught me that people's love and belief in you, it's not transactional. It's not based on your performance. Here are the 3 big lies that I had to unlearn, and maybe you have to unlearn as well. The lie is that success means holding on no matter what it costs. But the truth is that success is alignment, and things come in seasons, and living the life that God has called you to, not the one that the world applauds or the dream that you've idolized, but living in alignment with what God has said for you to do and when He has said for you to do it. That is true success. The second lie is that strength means never quitting. But the truth is that strength is trusting God enough to know when it is time to walk away. Trusting God enough to know that if He is telling you to put something down, it's because He has something better in store for you. And the third lie is that to prove your worth, you have to suffer and work hard, harder than anyone else. And working hard is great. But the truth is that you are already worthy. God doesn't need you to burn yourself out to prove your value to Him. Letting go did not feel like a win for either of these situations. But looking back, they definitely weren't losses. What I have now, what I've been able to accomplish, what God has been able to do through me, would have never been possible if I hadn't let go. So if you're in a season where God is asking you to let go, please hear me. You are not failing. You are not giving up. You are not quitting. You are being faithful. Sometimes obedience looks like leaving the job. Sometimes it looks like closing the door on something that you have built. Sometimes it looks like trusting God more than you trust your resume. There is a peace on the other side of letting go, a peace that you cannot earn, but you can receive the moment that you stop grasping and you start trusting. So take this with you today. Ask yourself, is what I am holding on to still giving life, or is it just familiar? Identify one belief about success or strength that you've been taught and ask yourself, does this align with God's word? And remember, God can do more with your surrender than you ever could with your striving. If this spoke to you, let me know in the comments or send it to someone who's wrestling with a hard release. Make sure that you like and subscribe and comment and let me know how I can be helpful to you on your journey. And if you're looking for an additional bonus, you can get my free Resilient and Rooted Reflection Journal, where you will be able to spend some quiet moments with God and think about His calling and what He is calling you to in this season. If you are at a point of letting go, if you are at a point of rethinking what resilience means to you and how it aligns with God's promises, I want to know and I want to be on this journey with you. But know that you are not alone. You are doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing. And I am so proud of you.